Ladies and gentlemen, Raider Nation, there have been some new details that have emerged that can lead to a draft day trade for the Las Vegas Raiders, where they find a quarterback who may actually slip a little further than we realized initially. We are going to break down all these reports that are happening right now. Keep in mind, the NFL draft is only 9 days away. And make sure you subscribe to WiFiWillie Raiders if you want
more videos like this.
So this is going to be important later on. Pay close attention here. You have Josh McDaniels out there at John Carroll College. I guess he was a wide receiver balling out. He catches a bomb from Texans general manager Nick Caserio. So there you go. Genius Josh, a shorter wide receiver, but still has some skills out there in college. And then we see him scoring a touchdown. Hey, maybe he can give Devontae Adams some tips. But interesting to note, GM Dave Ziegler was also on that team. Friends with Nick Caserio out there at John Carroll College, and they also worked with him from their time with the New England Patriots. And this is going to be critical information later on. We know the Raiders are picking number 7 in the draft. The Texans are picking at number 2. It looks like the number 4 Colts will likely take a quarterback in addition to the Carolina Panthers, who traded up for number 1. But some of these teams who we thought may be picking a quarterback might actually not. Adam Schefter was letting us know just right before the draft that a quarterback might not be taken at pick number 2, 3, and 4 after the first quarterback is picked. And many people believe that first quarterback could in fact be Bryce Young. And that is why just yesterday it was reported that Bryce Young has canceled the rest of his top 30 visits. He's no longer going to go through with them. This indicates that he believes he will be drafted number 1 overall. And he also visited the Texans, and we've heard reports that the Texans only like Bryce Young. But real quick, man, I want to give a shout out to former Raiders defensive end Chris Smith. Played some games with the Raiders in 2020, and he has passed away at age 31. That is way too young, and people do not know the exact cause of death right now. But I just remember him in 2020 chasing after Mahomes, giving him some hell, which helped the Raiders get that victory in Kansas City. Seemed like a great guy, and it makes you realize how precious life is, that something like this could happen out of nowhere. So hold on to your loved ones, man, and RIP Chris Smith. So we have Adam Schefter saying that there may only be 1 quarterback taken in the first 4 picks. We have reports that the Houston Texans, who are picking at number 2, only like Bryce Young. And in fact, NFL Rookie Watch is saying that there are reports that DeMeco Ryans, the head coach, loves Will Anderson. We know he's a defensive-minded head coach coming from the San Francisco 49ers. And apparently they're not sold on Anthony Richardson, CJ Stroud, or Will Levis. Seems like Bryce Young is the only QB option for them, but not likely going to be there. And now we have the scenario where the relationship comes into play. Ian Rappaport is reporting that Nick Caserio, the GM of the Houston Texans, the man who was throwing touchdown passes to Josh McDaniels in college, is apparently fielding calls for the number 2 overall pick. So teams are trying to trade up. He's asking, are we open for business? He says we're open to listening.
He likes picks. Although the Alabama guy doesn't look bad, I tell you.
Oh my goodness, yes. The historic video from a few months ago where the owner of the Colts at pick number 4, that's where the Colts stand, Jim Irsay, blurted out the fact that the Colts want Bryce Young. So you got the Texans saying they only want Bryce Young. Looks like the Colts are mainly eyeing Bryce Young. And the Panthers, everybody thinks and everybody seems to know, and including Bryce Young, who's canceling all these top 30 visits, knows he's going to be selected by the Carolina Panthers. So quite possibly 2 of these teams picking in the top 4 don't want any of these quarterbacks. And even though people make fun of Will Levis because he puts mayonnaise in his coffee, I don't know, this guy is kind of weird, but he does have some dope tape from 2021. However, he did play at a smaller school with a weak O-line, so sometimes it could be a little bad. But a lot of people think this guy is going to be the 2nd quarterback taken. So a lot of people are higher on him than somebody like Anthony Richardson, than even people like CJ Stroud. So it is quite possible that one of these QBs falls to the Raiders since they sit at pick number 7. And this is also where old friendships come into play. Nick Caserio, the GM of the Texans, friends with Josh McDaniels, friends with Dave Ziegler. Well, he might be out of a job. That is quite possible. The rumors were circulating. He got a little frustrated, had to, put down the rumors at a press conference, but ownership hasn't really said anything about him. And a lot of people think it's possible. They think it's possible. And, when you know you're going to get fired, sometimes you just say F it and, give away some free stuff. Maybe help out your friends. friends. I've been in that situation before where I know I'm going to get fired at a job and you're kind of just like, F it, man. I know it's all done 2 weeks from now. So maybe you give out some free meals to your friends. Who gives a crap? I'm getting let go anyways. F them, right? And Nick Caserio could be experiencing the same thing. Maybe he's going to throw Josh McDaniels and Dave Ziegler a little present, giving them a cheap way to trade up to pick number 2 because, hey, he's getting fired anyway. And so Will Levis' stock is rising. Everybody wants Bryce Young. Anthony Richardson, too much of a project. He's falling in draft stock. CJ Stroud also, could be available while the Raiders pick. Some people think he'll be available when the Colts pick, but they probably don't value him that high. And we know there is a quarterback out there who the Raiders have been saying that, they'd be willing to trade up for. That's why they inquired with the Cardinals. That's why they're probably talking to the Houston Texans right now. And that is also why CJ Stroud getting his dream of throwing passes to Davante Adams could actually be a possibility. We know there's viral video where CJ Stroud pretty much alluded to the fact that he'd love to throw to Davante Adams, and Davante Adams ended up liking this video. So it could really happen, and I think this would be great for the Raiders if he was able to fall to pick number 7. Yeah, he's not as much of a dual threat quarterback as some of these other guys. He's kind of as mobile as Jimmy Garoppolo or Derek Carr, although we saw more flashes of it in that Georgia Bulldogs game. However, he is the most accurate QB in this draft class right now, and I think he is the most ready to compete with Jimmy Garoppolo in year 1. He's not going to have to sit for a couple years before he competes with the guy. So there you have it. Carolina can take Bryce Young. Houston could pass on a QB along with Arizona and the Colts. We know Seattle and the Detroit Lions are likely going defense, and the Raiders could have dibs at the second best quarterback in the NFL draft. I personally think the Raiders must draft a quarterback. I don't think Jimmy Garoppolo is going to be healthy the whole season, and I also do not want to trust the Raiders to tank for Caleb Williams or Drake May, and I also think Caleb Williams is incredibly overrated. I get that the guy wears nail polish, but I don't think that's a reason to select him as a quarterback. And I also don't get why some Raiders fans just cannot let former players go, why some fans, and this isn't just Raiders fans, this is all fans around the NFL who are just toxic on social media. And you have this guy trying to say that Darren Waller looks depressed on his first day with the Giants, and it's just literally an 8-second clip of Waller taken completely out of context where he's just looking at this person filming him and going to work. He's just going to work like a normal person, and it actually pissed off Denzel Good, the Raiders guard. He was really upset about this. He said, y'all really doing the most by assuming a man who's battled countless issues off the field is depressed because he's in a new city. Just think about that as you're on your way to your job. It's dismal on this app sometimes, I swear. And then Denzel Good went off. This guy was on IR last year, no longer a part of the Raiders. He did retire just this past offseason, but he's saying every fan got some assholes, trust me. And then that is true. It's all fans. It's not exclusive to Raiders fans, but that don't make them any more passionate than the next. That being said, I still love the nation, even if you get on my nerves, blah, blah, blah. But just really woke him up today. And I think we do have to move on from Darren Waller. Time will tell if Josh McDaniels made the right decision. If Josh McDaniels gets some production out of these other tight ends and Darren Waller does not ball out, Darren Waller becomes unavailable again, Josh McDaniels will win that trade. Let me know what you want to see the Raiders do at pick number 7, guys. This draft is getting a lot more interesting with all this buzz happening. It is only 9 days away, so make sure you subscribe to this channel so you do not miss our next videos, and check out some of these other videos here that you may have missed on our Raiders channel. My name is WiFiWillie. Peace out, and I hope you have a good one.